lot of emergency crews on the scene. It's on the eastbound Borman, just past Burr Street. They are getting some of the semis out of the way. You can see that stain on the pavement there, a fuel spill. Most of the debris is off on the right-hand shoulder in the ditch there. But they still have the eastbound side completely blocked off to traffic. All the traffic eastbound being detoured off at Klein Avenue. The westbound traffic, big gapers delay, probably a 2 to 3 mile backup. It's hard to tell at this point because we're trying to just figure out what's happening here at the scene of the incident. But we're hoping they should have a lane open within the next half hour or so. We will keep you posted. The travel times are still low, and we'll have all of them for you in our next update in 10 minutes.
Crash just before Grant. Everything is shut down. At least 3 semis, 5 vehicles total involved in this accident. It's backed up over to about Burr, but the easiest thing to do is to get off at Klein, and actually you have to. They're forcing all traffic off at Klein. You head down to Ridge and then back over towards Grant. You can get on at Grant. The crash just before the Grant Street interchange. Westbound gapers delay all the way back to I-65. Looking here in the background, the Tri-State moving from left.
Let's go right up to Sky 5.
Well, Bill, let's tell you first. The accident happened about 4 o'clock this morning. A semi, this box truck that's way over in the shoulder, and a car, which you can see the remnants of the debris from. Eastbound 8094 just before Grant Street, between Burr and Grant. All lanes are blocked down here. Now, they're diverting all eastbound traffic way off at Klein Avenue, which is a couple of exits before. You've got a delay from Kennedy to Klein, and then folks are stuck between Burr and Grant. For some reason, they're still letting people on eastbound of Burr. Not sure why they're doing that. Also have a diesel fuel spill. A lot to clean up here. 8094 is shut down eastbound. There are westbound gapers delays, and they are pretty large from I-65 all the way over to Grant Street. Ridge Road, US 30, or the Indiana Toll Road are definite alternates to 8094 for you this morning, Bill.
All right, Mike, thanks for that. Certainly an accident eastbound now causing big delays for those westbound commuters heading towards Chicago. Let's look at traffic, Art.
On your screen, that's the least bit that's involved. Skycam's headed down to this crash. Eastbound, all lanes are blocked at Klein. Oh, we can leave that map up for a second if we can, please. At Burr Street is where the crash is. They are detouring all the traffic off at Klein. And that's where they're forcing everyone either down to Ridge Road or US 20, or you can make your way to the toll road. But your eastbound delay is from Kennedy Avenue over to Klein, westbound jam from I-65 over to Grant Street, all a gapers delay. We do know that 2 people have been transported, and they're cleaning up a big diesel fuel spill as well. Again, that crash happened just before 4 o'clock, and Skycam, you can see, is headed down towards Indiana, headed toward the city right now, but they should be there soon. In the meantime, travel times look like this. Kennedy inbound.
We're keeping an eye on, and Chopper 7 is over it. I guess the good news is there were 2 minor injuries. Both the folks who were injured in this crash are in fair condition, but the bad news is for traffic, we still have some big delays. Now, let me tell you what we're looking at. This is the eastbound side of 8094, just east of Burr Street, and it looks like they have finally reopened at least the left lane of traffic. We had a crash with 5 vehicles, 3 of them semis. We had about 100 gallons of diesel fuel spilled, so that was the thing. Once they got the wreckage off the roadway, to clear up the fuel spill so they could get that traffic through there. Now, you can see up toward the left corner of the screen, the westbound traffic, that gapers delay goes almost as far back as I-65, so that is a pretty substantial backup there. The eastbound delay is roughly from Klein Avenue to the site of the incident because all the traffic was being detoured off at Klein Avenue, but hopefully now that they're starting to get some of those lanes open, we'll see some of the traffic dissipate. That's the gapers delay you're looking at there. It's terrible because we had so many flashing lights and emergency vehicles there. Everybody had to stare at it. That probably is going to take much longer to dissipate. Let's go through the travel times on the Illinois side. Those are in very
side of the accident. They have 1 left lane open. What they're doing is they're letting folks who are stuck between Burr and Grant get through. However, all eastbound traffic still being diverted off and completely shut down at Klein Avenue. This crash involving 2 semis. This box truck you see here was all the way out in the ditch. This crane put a large hoist on it. It was just about 50 feet in the air a few minutes ago. They hoisted it over the guardrail. Now they have to unload it. You've got a diesel fuel spill here as well, so a lot to clean up. Big eastbound delays from Kennedy over to the scene, and you can see this massive westbound delay, I-65 to Grant Street. Again, Ridge Road, US 30, Indiana Toll Road. Good alternates for you this morning, Bill.
Thank you, Mike. That is our hotspot.
Morning to you guys and everyone who's joining us this Friday. Everything looks great on the area expressways, but over in northwest Indiana, we're watching this accident that's been out there for quite a while. It's on the eastbound side of 8094, and it's at Grant. They're closing all lanes, or they have closed all lanes, and they're forcing traffic off at Klein Avenue. We're actually headed in that direction right now, and as soon as we get there, we'll let you know what's going on. In the meantime,
Guardrail. They hoisted it over the guardrail down on the road, and it looks like they're about to tow that away. Once that's done, a lot more cleanup can be done, but all eastbound lanes still departed off at Klein. Big delays in both directions of 80-94. I have checked out the Toll Road and Ridge Road. They are great.
We have a couple of heavy-duty cranes in here trying to get this box truck out of the way. It was flipped over the guardrail. It looks like they uprated it and brought it on the pavement. But see if you can move to the right a little bit there, Tom, and show them the other vehicles involved. We had heard up to 5 cars and also about 3 semis involved. I think if we move a little bit further to the right, we'll see some of those semis stacked up on the shoulder. Anyway, all traffic is being detoured off eastbound 80-94 at Klein. You have a delay that starts back at Kennedy Avenue. Also, your westbound Gapers delay that you see on the top of your screen starts back at I-65. We do know 2 people were transported, and they're still working on cleaning up some diesel fuel as well. You're going to want to use Ridge Road, US 30, US 20, or in the Indiana Toll Road instead this morning.
I'll show you this accident briefly. This is on the eastbound side. The accident itself is at Grant, but they're forcing traffic off at Klein Avenue. One vehicle here, we've got 3 semis and 5 passenger vehicles involved in this accident, so they still have a lot of work ahead of them. Your delay starts back at Kennedy Avenue. We'll give you more details coming up in our next report, and that is it for traffic. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks. Open all lanes eastbound 80-94 near Grant Street. Let me show you why. This is a nasty crash. You see that? See that blue thing in the middle of your screen? That's actually the cab of one of the semis involved in this crash. Really nasty. It's hooked up to a tow truck off on the shoulder. They have reopened a left lane, so a left lane's getting through, but follow the tracks if you can. Look what our cameraman found here. Looks like the semi ended up on the shoulder by skidding across all 3 lanes of traffic. You see that? The skid mark went from the left lane all the way off to the shoulder where he hit the guardrail. You see another box truck up on a tow truck there, and you see all the sand on the pavement. That was the result of a diesel fuel spill. There was also about 5 cars involved. 2 people were transported to area hospitals. No word on their condition. But let's tilt up and show them this delay, Tom. It's starting just at Burr Street now. They were detouring traffic off at Klein, but it's now just jammed Burr to Grant Street and eastbound, or westbound, I should say, your Gapers delay.
This crash going on since about 4 o'clock this morning. They're finally letting some traffic through on the eastbound side. That's where the incident occurred, just east of Grant Street. And as a result, we've got a pretty hefty delay in both directions. Now, I just checked with state police, and they are hoping to get all the lanes open within the next 10-15 minutes or so. But they still have a little bit of cleanup to finish up with there. Only 2 minor injuries were involved in this crash, which involved 3 semis and 2 other vehicles. But as you can see, the damage is done. So we've got some healthy delays going on eastbound. And then westbound, we've got backups with Gapers from as far back as Broadway. Now, as far as the
and a half open here, Bill. You've got the 2 right lanes essentially shut down here with these 5 vehicles that had to be towed over to the shoulder. They are working on this as well as the diesel fuel. Delays are easing up, but still very slow for about a 1-mile stretch of eastbound 80-94. You can see traffic at a crawl from Burr over to Grant, I should say. Westbound minor Gapers delays. Indiana State Police hoping to get this on the shoulder by the 7 o'clock time. Bill?
On the pavement, look at that, crossed over all 3 lanes, starting in the left lane. There were 2 other semis involved and 5 cars and another box truck. Anyway, they've told almost the whole scene is clear. You can see there's still some sand on the pavement. They had to put that down where they had some diesel fuel spilled. Still just a left lane getting through here, eastbound 80-94 at Grant Street, and your delay starting back before Burr. But that's an improvement, believe it or not. They had all people detoured off at Klein earlier, but still some nasty delays. You're going to use the Toll Road, Ridge Road, or US 30 instead as your alternates.
We can see that they are moving some more of the equipment or of the vehicles out of the roadway, so it looks like now you have at least all lanes are open. It looks like everything is back open now. They just did that as we were coming to you. So on the eastbound side, your delay begins now at Burr and goes over to the accident scene, but that should thin out quickly. And westbound Gapers delay is just approaching.
Away. 3 semis, 5 cars, a box truck all involved, eastbound 80-94 near Grant Street. Alas, everything has been reopened in the last 10 minutes or so, so it is very good news. You still have a delay Burr to Grant, and westbound just a brief Gapers delay around Grant. Let's show you.
But the roadway is open. Eastbound on I-80-94, an earlier crash is now gone. You're stuck with some delays from Burr to Grant. Earlier crash gone there. Stevenson Express.
Let me tell you what I'm talking about here. We had this crash much earlier this morning, and they are still towing the wreckage out of there. They're east of the I-65 interchange, and they're moving quite slowly, as, you know, safely they have to. But as a result, it's causing this big delay for the eastbound traffic, and they can't really get beyond that. So you may want to avoid 8094 for the time being. The westbound Gapers delay we had around Grant Street has pretty much dissipated. It's shifted further west, so we're starting to see some of those delays closer to the Illinois state line and onto the Kingery Expressway. Let's take a look at the expressway travel time.